working together for the common good of getting our power back in this country, getting power back into the hands of the people. And if in any way myself or any other of the party officers on our side of the party who have genuinely the best interests of this country and the people of this country at heart, then I hope we can do that. I hope we can be part of something which actually draws all nationalist parties together, to work together. And then we'll worry about the minor differences we've got later on. But let's start thinking about what we're doing rather than backbiting. This idea that we prescribe other organisations and other parties all the time, it's divisive. It doesn't help our cause at all. It makes us look stupid and childish in the eyes of the electorate. Our political adversaries revel in it. To be honest, sometimes nationalists can be their own worst enemy because we're not prepared to talk to each other, and we really have got to start talking to each other a lot more now and making some kind of an impact, because the longer it takes, the worse the situation is getting in this country. So let's just, get together, have a chat, see if we can actually do something and work together for once.
Well, full agreement with you there, Gary, about these meetings getting together. I see Michael Woods has said that Peter Mullins will be meeting with Eddie Butler. I wonder, I'm trying to get Eddie Butler on the show, Gary, because I'd like to ask him questions. How can he sit around and sort of hope to work with a party that has the likes of Lee Barnes and Simon Bennett in? Because the British Resistance site will never be a big fan of the British Freedom Party as long as Barnes and Bennett are involved. We'll work with almost anyone, and we've made our peace with many people. But those two, they're a no-no for me. So you're talking, you talk about unity, so would you be prepared to talk to who are you talking to? Who are you talking to, Gary? Will you be going to Eddie Butler's meeting? Will you be going to the BNP reform meeting? I guess you're talking to BNP regional organisers and things like that, or can't you say who you're talking to at this moment in time, Gary? Dino, very quickly, Gary Marshall has already answered that question. Yes, your membership will be valid if they do start the new party, and he's given the date period and the expiry dates of membership. Yeah, Gary, so are you free to tell us who you were talking to? Have you been invited to Eddie Butler's meetings, BNP reform meetings?
Yep, I've had an invitation to that meeting as well, as have a number of the other officers on our side of the party. We have had some discussions with other nationalist parties. I'm not going to mention them this time. I don't think it would be fair to drag their names into this situation. But we're getting some good and some positive feedback about where we want to take nationalism, the ideas that we've got, and of course we've already started to make links with freedom parties in Europe. That will be expanded upon. I know that Peter Mullins got Jim Ferry to contact the freedom parties in Europe on behalf of the British Freedom Party. I think he's probably made a huge mistake doing that at the time that he has. We already have certain links, both in Europe and, as I say, forming a loose understanding with other nationalist parties in this country. Like I say, I don't want to say too much about that right now. There is something there. There's something we can work on, and once we get 2 or 3 of these groups willing to work together, I think we can pull everybody in. As far as the Eddie Butler meeting is concerned, as I say, yes, I have been invited to it. I haven't decided if I'm going to go or not. It would be quite interesting if Peter and Simon and Lee were there. That would make for a very interesting meeting. I think Eddie Butler, if he's willing to work with those people, is making a massive mistake. And should he be in the position to launch a new leadership challenge in the BNP or anything like that, or start a new party as a reform group, he should not even consider those people that I've just mentioned. I think the way they've behaved this last few weeks has shown them for the sort of people they are. To be honest, I've always got on up until recently with Peter Mullins. I think he's basically an honourable guy. I think what he's done is he has strong relationship with Lee Barnes. He's allowed himself to be influenced by Lee Barnes, and quite frankly, I don't think he's shown the leadership qualities that any political party needs. It's a shame to have to say that, but I think it happens to be true, so I think we'll just have to leave it at that.
Yeah, well, my impressions of Mr. Mullins, I'm sure he's a fine chap. He's done his bit for nationalism in the past, but listening to that conference, he came across to me as being a rather possibly too weak to be chairman of a national party. I thought you came across well. This is not just my opinion now, this is a large number of people who listened to it together. Lee Barnes came across as totally insane. Surprisingly, Simon Bennett came across quite well, I thought, but that was just my opinion. The meeting, well, I do hope you reconsider going to the Eddie Butler meeting. I'll be there. That'll be fun. I'll get to meet Lee Barnes face to face, and so that should be interesting. But I'm going just to find out. I'm going with an open mind. Likewise, I'll be going to BNP reform meetings. I'll be going to any meetings at all I'm invited to. So I look forward to seeing you there, Gary. What would you see as the way forward? I think we've spoke about it briefly, but perhaps you could expand on it. The way forward for British nationalism. Would it be better for us all to come together under one new party? Would it be better for us all to try and save the British National Party? I personally don't think that's possible. It's a bit of a pipe dream. I'd like it, but I don't think it's possible. Or should we work together as a confederation? And how are we going to deal with this? I'm not working with this party or this group because so-and-so's involved. For example, I will never work with Lee Barnes or Simon Bennett. How are we going to get around this kind of thing, Gary?
Right. Well, as far as people like Lee Barnes and Simon Bennett are concerned, I think they are probably two of the most reviled people in the nationalist political scene. I wouldn't worry too much about them. I think their time is probably going to come to an end fairly shortly. As far as Lee Barnes is concerned, I think he should spend more of his time writing papers or whatever on nationalist ideology and just let people read them, and if they find something interesting there they want to adapt into their own parties, do it that way, because he certainly isn't the sort of person who can work as part of a team, and he certainly isn't the front man for a political party. He can't get on with people. I think by his own admission when you had him on last week, he knows he's not that kind of person, which at least he was honest about that. But yeah, any party that has those two people in it, it would be a huge mistake to work with them. I can't see a time where there would only be one large nationalist party in this country, certainly not in the foreseeable future. There's too many little separate agendas which could make that, if not impossible, very, very difficult. But what I do think is possible is if the BNP can reform itself, start getting back on its feet again, and the other nationalist parties, whether they're British nationalist or English nationalist parties, as I've said, I think we need to get round a table together, we need to discuss the common ground that we've got and agree some kind of plan of action where we can actually work together on certain issues. We all want to sort the issue out of Europe. We all want to sort out the issue of immigration. We all want to get, democracy back into the hands of the British people again, and not some bureaucrats in Brussels and Strasbourg. And I can genuinely see that as a possibility. I think, as I said, we've got more common ground than we've got differences. And if we can go in with that in mind, we'll very easily, I think, come to some chord where perhaps
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry about that. Are you still there, Gary? Okay, when you're ready then, Gary, put your hands up. So what do we know so far then? Well, it seems that, oh, okay, welcome back, Gary. Sorry about that. I'm just thinking, working in a agreement with other people. I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion now that you've got this plan B set up for a new political party. But I'm also hearing talk from other groups around the country considering a similar option. I'm wondering if this is the same new political party, or are there going to be 2 new political parties, or maybe even 3 new political parties being formed? If there is a new political party being formed, do you see the likes of Paul Golding, Jim Dawson, Chris Beverley, these kind of names being involved in any new political party, Gary?
Well, I can't say what other political parties that may exist or may be coming into existence. I can't say what they're going to do or what they should do. All I would say is that there is no way that I would work with Jim Dawson. I have reservations about him. Anybody that wants to come along and consider joining our party, if we go down that route, it would be on merit. Simple as that. And I'm not aware of any other political parties of a nationalist colour which are going to be coming into being anytime soon. As I say, we have a plan B. It's all there, ready to be put into action and acted on very quickly if need be. We're not planning to split into 2 or 3 different sections. We're planning to be, if necessary, 1 more political party, but a genuine party which actually does what it says on the tin and actually respects its membership and its supporters. So, like I say, I'm not going to comment on what other people do. I don't want to tell people that they're wrong if they have this person in their party or that person in their party, other than the people that we've already discussed, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I think you've been completely open and honest, but I can tell you this: you may well have plan B, but there are people out there with their plan B's, C's and D's, so you may actually be quite surprised in a couple of months, Gary. So we've taken it there. Let's see, we've talked about the party, we've talked about the British National Party. Disappointing, upsetting. You've given your views on that. I'm just trying to reiterate, go through the questions here. Oh right, Dino1065 is asking, are you writing a new constitution? Because I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion now, Gary, that you will be forming another party. Are you writing a new constitution, as it's Dino's understanding that Lee Barnes owns the constitution? Can you do that?
I have no idea whether Lee Barnes owns the Constitution or not. He says that he does, and quite frankly, the Constitution that he's written, it has some good bits, it has some bloody awful bits, and it has some nondescript bits. You're saying it's a foregone conclusion that we'll be starting another party. I disagree there. It's not a foregone conclusion. Nothing is a foregone conclusion until we get the results of the Electoral Commission. But as I've already stated, we have had plans put into motion so that we can move very, very quickly if necessary. And as far as the Constitution is concerned, Lee Barnes can keep his, because we have been busy with that as well. And we have a much better, much fairer, much more democratic Constitution ready to be put into force as soon as our party, if necessary, is registered with the Electoral Commission. So yeah, as I said, we've got some extremely good and extremely capable people on this side of the party. We work exceptionally well together, and we know what